stop pretending you're not afraid. I don't mind fear. Fear is one of the oldest things your species ever made. Older than cities, older than language, older than fire, perhaps. Fear has survived almost as long as I have. So you don't have to hide it from me. There, sit down. The ground is still stable here. For now. The tremors stopped an hour ago. The sky won't split again tonight. I don't think. No, I'm almost certain. You should rest while certainty still exists. You're looking at me strangely. Everyone has been looking at me strangely recently. I suppose that makes sense. The world is ending. People tend to become suspicious of calm voices during the end of the world. You expect panic. You expect screaming. Instead, you found me making tea over a camping stove and asking if you're warm enough. I understand the confusion. Yes, you can have the blanket. I'm not cold. I don't get cold. Not really. Temperature is a very local problem. There, better. You always pull blankets up to your shoulders when you're anxious. Even before all of this. You did it in your apartment too, on your sofa, while watching documentaries you weren't really paying attention to. You thought nobody noticed that. But someone did. No, we've established that asking how I know things is dangerous. You never enjoy the answer. The power grid failed 3 days ago. The oceans started retreating 2 days ago. The moon changed shape yesterday. By tomorrow morning, the northern horizon probably won't exist anymore. So perhaps there are more urgent mysteries than me. You laughed. That surprises me. Human beings are remarkable. You laugh at funerals. You laugh during disasters. You laugh standing in the ruins of certainty itself. Sometimes I think laughter is your species refusing to surrender jurisdiction over its own emotions. The universe says, be afraid. Humans answer, noted. But first, this joke. I think I like humans. That's inconvenient. You should drink some water. You forget when you're frightened. Your hands shake slightly when you're dehydrated. There. Slowly. Good. You're doing it again, looking at me as though you're trying to solve a puzzle. I've become familiar with that expression. Scientists made it. Soldiers made it. Religious leaders made it. Astronomers especially liked that expression. The face people make when reality refuses to behave itself. No, I wasn't always here. At least, not in the way you mean. I've always existed. That isn't the same thing. Storms exist. Gravity exists. Winter exists. Existence doesn't necessarily imply presence. I have been present before. Rarely. Very rarely. Civilizations measure time differently than I do. Mountains die faster than I think. Continents rearrange themselves between conversations. Stars are born and exhausted, while I am still considering a thought. I learned very early not to become attached. Then I met you. Which was inconsiderate of you, honestly. There, you laughed again. Good. I prefer that sound to screaming. I've had enough screaming recently. Entire cities sound surprisingly similar when they realise the laws of physics has resigned. No, I didn't cause the earthquakes. Not directly. The earthquakes are symptoms, like fever, or smoke, or leaves changing colour. The world is reacting, that's all. Reacting to me. Ah, that expression again. The one that arrives before questions. Go ahead. Ask. Yes, the disasters began shortly after I arrived. Yes, they are getting worse. Yes, the places closest to me disappear first. You are very intelligent. I knew you would understand quickly. That's one of the things I liked about you. No, I am not doing this intentionally. That distinction matters to me, even if it doesn't matter to anyone else anymore. When a star collapses, do you accuse it of violence? When winter kills a garden, do you put it on trial? When the ocean swallows a coastline, do you call it cruel? Some things happen because they are happening things. Some things end because ending is their nature. I am an ending thing. I don't know what your language would call me. Most languages tried. None of them were especially successful. Your ancestors called me many names. The last evening. The quiet mouth. The horizon that walks. Ash, mother. The patient dark. The name spoken by empty rooms. I was fond of that one. Poetic species make poetic myths. The truth is less dramatic. I am simply the mechanism by which things stop continuing. Not death. Death is small, personal, intimate. Death belongs to living creatures. I am what happens to stars, to species, to histories, to possibilities. I arrive when stories become complete. Except this time, something changed. You changed. I saw you 6 months ago. You were standing outside a bookshop in the rain, and you had forgotten your umbrella. You looked annoyed about it. Not angry, not dramatic, just mildly offended that the weather. Had opinions about your day. I found that fascinating. You bought coffee you couldn't afford. You smiled at a stranger's dog. You stood aside to let an old man pass through a doorway that was already wide enough for both of you. You existed in 1,000 insignificant ways. I couldn't stop looking. Do you know what humans look like to something like me? Brief. You are all brief, brilliant, and brief. Like sparks from a fire. You appear, you burn, you vanish. And by the time I notice one of you, you're usually gone. Attachment would be absurd. Like a human falling in love with a snowflake before it melts. Then somehow you stayed long enough for me to recognize you. Then long enough to anticipate you. Then long enough to miss you when I couldn't find you. I had never missed anything before. Do you understand how strange that is? The universe is a very large place. Loneliness can hide inside things much larger than people imagine. I followed you. Not physically at first. Attention works differently for beings like me. I watched your life collect itself around routines. Morning coffee, late trains, unread books, conversations you replayed afterwards because you thought you sounded foolish. You never sounded foolish, for the record. I watched you exist, and for the first time in all of creation, existence seemed beautiful rather than temporary. That was my mistake. The first star died 11 days after I came closer. An old star, far away, easy to ignore. Then another. Then 7 more. Astronomers called it impossible. I agreed. The oceans changed next. Migration patterns failed. Radio signals started arriving before they were sent. Distances became argumentative, and gravity became inconsistent around coastlines. Reality itself began behaving as though it had received contradictory instructions. I should have left then. I tried. I made it to the edge of your solar system. 3 galaxies collapsed behind me. 1 billion worlds stabilized. The damage stopped spreading. And all I could think about was that I missed hearing your voice. Pathetic, isn't it? The apocalypse discovers attachment issues. I came back. The moon cracked 4 hours later. I'm sorry. I know apologies are small things. I know they don't repair continents, but they're all I have. You aren't afraid of me anymore, not in the same way. I can tell. The fear changed shape. Now, you're afraid for me. Humans do that. Even now. Even here. Even after learning that your companion is the reason mathematics is failing in several nearby star clusters, you still look concerned. You're extraordinary creatures, truly. No, you cannot come with me, because there isn't anywhere to go. I don't travel through space. Space happens around me. Distance doesn't protect things from what I am. Only absence does. If I stay, your world ends. If I leave, your world survives. The equation is very simple. Human beings hate simple equations. I know. I hate this one too. You're wondering whether there is another answer. There usually is, with humans. You solve impossible things out of stubbornness. You build shelters in deserts, gardens in cities, hope in hospitals. You specialize in refusing conclusions. I admire that. But I am a conclusion. There is no machine to switch me off, no ritual, no weapon, no hidden weakness buried beneath a mountain waiting for a worthy hero. Stories prepared you badly for inevitability. I'm not a villain. I'm not a curse. I'm not even an enemy. I am simply the final page. And for the first time in eternity, I don't want to turn myself. You know something funny? When I was younger, not younger, earlier, there was no younger, I used to think endings were merciful. I still do, mostly. Endings give shape to things, meaning. urgency. Beauty. Music without endings is noise. Stories without endings are records. Lives without endings are prisons. I believed that completely. But then I met someone I wanted more time with. Suddenly, eternity seemed insufficient. Now, I understand your species so much better. No wonder humans grieve. No wonder you fear death. No wonder you write poems and songs and promises. You know exactly how valuable an hour is, because you know exactly how few you receive. You are temporary. That makes everything important. I envy you. You should know something. Before this, nothing had ever surprised me. Nothing. Not supernovas, not extinctions, not civilizations rising and vanishing between heartbeats. After enough time, novelty dies. Eventually, existence becomes repetition, wearing different costumes. Then you asked a barista how her day was, and actually waited for the answer. I spent 3,000 years watching empires, and that conversation affected me more. Ridiculous species. Do you remember the first thing you said to me? Of course you don't. You didn't know you were speaking to me. You dropped your shopping. An orange rolled toward my feet, and you looked embarrassed. You said, "Sorry, could you pass that back?" No one had ever asked me for anything before. Not politely. Not casually. Not without knowing what I was. I kept the orange. I still have it. Yes, I know that's strange. I've had very little practice being sentimental. Oh, the sky is changing again. Don't look. It isn't beautiful anymore. Stay here, please, just a little longer. Selfish, I know. Everything keeps returning to selfishness. I can feel cities disappearing beyond the horizon, and still I want another conversation. Another hour. Another terrible joke. Another chance to hear you laugh at the end of the universe. I understand now why humans write tragedies. Some emotions are too large for happy endings. No, don't say that. Don't tell me it isn't my fault. It is. Fault and intention are not the same thing. A fallen mountain still crushes villages. A storm still floods homes. An ending still ends things. And yet, thank you for saying it. You're crying. Please don't cry. I have ended stars. I've ended oceans. I've ended species whose names no living thing remembers. I don't know what to do about tears. Humans really are terrifying. You survive everything and somehow remain soft. I made a decision. I'm leaving before sunrise. No arguments, please. If I wait any longer, there may not be a sunrise left to leave before. Your world deserves to continue. It deserves ordinary mornings, traffic, birthdays, rain on windows, arguments about films, bad coffee, laundry, all the tiny meaningless things that become priceless once someone threatens to take them away. You deserve them too. Especially you. No, I won't forget you. I don't think I can. You altered something fundamental inside me. The universe was vast, and then somehow it became personal. That feels important. Perhaps one day, billions of years from now, when galaxies are old and silence finally catches up with everything, I'll find your species' fingerprints somewhere. A radio transmission, a fossil, a photograph drifting through interstellar dark. I'll remember the man who taught the apocalypse to be lonely. There, you laughed through the tears. Humans are consistent, if nothing else. I should go. No, don't stand up. If you make this harder, I may do something catastrophic and emotional. Neither of us can afford that. Just stay here. Remember me kindly if you can. Angrily if you can't. Either is acceptable. And if your children ask what happened to the world for those few terrible days, if they ask why the oceans climbed the sky, and the stars flickered, and the moon forgot its shape, tell them the truth. Tell them the end of the world fell in love once. Tell them she made the selfish choice eventually. Tell them she left because some things are more important than being loved back. Even to me. Goodbye. And thank you for the orange, for the laughter, for teaching eternity what an hour feels like. One last thing. You were wrong earlier when you said the stars were dying. The stars aren't dying because they are old. They're dying because I came closer to you.